Welcome to Taylor Money Talk, where we connect history, economics, and strategy to understand where we have been and the direction we are heading next. This is a general discussion and is not intended to be specific investment advice. Let's talk about governance and why it directly impacts economics and our investments. Governance is the foundational architecture of social order. It's the systems, institutions, and legal frameworks that manage a society's resources and affairs. When governance is strong, it fosters stability, economic growth, and civil trust. When governance erodes through corruption or disregard for the rule of law, the result is institutional decay, social fragmentation, and often humanitarian crisis. Governance provides the rules of the game. Regardless of politics, governance serves three primary functions. First, conflict resolution. An impartial judiciary must exist to settle disputes without tribalism, favoritism, or political bias. When justice is unevenly applied, confidence in the system begins to collapse. We should honestly ask ourselves, has our judiciary shown signs of compromise? Second, resource allocation. Public goods like infrastructure, healthcare, and education must be distributed efficiently and fairly. When mismanaged, these systems become breeding grounds for waste and corruption. Third, safety and security. The state must maintain a legitimate monopoly on the use of force to protect citizens from internal and external threats. When that monopoly weakens, alternative power structures emerge. When these functions are performed transparently and consistently, the population grants the state legitimacy. Legitimacy is the social glue that prevents chaos. Lately, we've heard more discussion about corruption within government programs. Corruption functions as a hidden tax on the entire population. When public officials prioritize private gain over public service, two things typically follow. One, an erosion of trust. Citizens stop believing the system works for them. Two, institutional decay. The machinery of governance weakens from within. Winston Churchill once observed, "Civil servants cease to be civil and cease to be servants." When laws are applied inconsistently, where elites appear immune and ordinary citizens are aggressively prosecuted, the legal framework loses moral authority. When people lose faith in formal justice, they either take matters into their own hands, or parallel power structures fill the vacuum. Organized crime, extremist groups, private networks of influence. History offers warnings about failed governance and what it does to societies and investments. The Roman Republic didn't fall solely to invasion. It decayed internally. Leaders like Julius Caesar began disregarding constitutional norms and legal precedent to consolidate personal power. Rising inequality, political gridlock, civil wars. The republic ends, and autocratic empire begins. The collapse of the Soviet Union is another example. Often analyzed economically, it was fundamentally a failure of governance. Systemic corruption, a lack of transparency, a massive disconnect between rulers and citizens. Eventually, the central government could no longer maintain order or provide basic goods. The Union fractured into 15 independent states. Consider modern-day Venezuela, once among the wealthiest in South America, now a warning of governance breakdown. Social order is not permanent. It's a continuous process, requiring accountability, transparency, and adherence to the rule of law. In a complex global landscape and an era shaped by rapidly advancing technologies like AI, strengthening governance must remain a priority. The bedrock of a nation is not its soil, not even its wealth. It's the integrity of its institutions. And here's where this becomes practical for investors. When governance weakens, risk premiums rise, capital flees uncertainty, currencies weaken, asset valuations become unstable, regulatory unpredictability increases. Investment outcomes aren't determined only by balance sheets or earnings. They're shaped by institutional trust. I believe we're at a heightened risk level today regarding governance. As investors, we must pay close attention. Governance risk is investment risk. Thank you for joining me on Taylor Money Talk. If you enjoyed this, you can subscribe on YouTube or your other favorite platforms and receive notifications for new episodes.